Y'all, I am so excited for today. Like, y'all know I ain't get cute for no reason. Actually, if you know me, you do know I get cute for no reason. But today I got cute for a reason, honey. Like, today is a very exciting day because I'm gonna be talking about my book. You can relate. I'm gonna be asking the most asked questions that I've got since dropping my book. And just for a little backstory, hold on, let me try to get this. Okay, just for a little backstory, You Can Relate is my autobiography. Like, I've written poetry since middle school. I've written poetry since about middle school, maybe even a little earlier. But throughout my life, I would like write. I would just write poetry. Like if I was feeling a lot of emotions, if I had a lot on my mind, I would just write about it. So You Can Relate is basically a it's basically an autobiography full of all the poems that I've written in my life. Not all of them, but just a few. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. Like, y'all, I'm hella excited. All right, anyways. First question. In the first few pages, you let us in on some of the darkness that you dealt with in life. Do you think you've healed from that? Thing about healing is you can't, I feel like me personally, you can't 100% heal from things. Like you kind of just accept them. So for me, I've accepted all the things that I've dealt with. Like shit happens in life, shit that you don't deserve sometimes. And it is what it is. So to say that I've completely healed from it, I think that would be a lie. But I can say that I have accepted my dealt cards, and I believe that it's really what you do with the cards you dealt. It's not, how can I say it better? It's not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. So that's my answer to that question. That was a good question, though. What made you finally accept and move past your trauma? What made you finally accept and move past your trauma? So, I mean, I guess that's kind of the same thing as the last question, but what made me finally accept it is really what made me finally accept it was going to therapy and like actually trying to heal and like talking about those things finally and finally like letting them go. That's what made me accept it and that's what made me move past it. Next question. Will there be a part two? Ooh, there will be a part two. I'm actually working on that now. I'm not gonna give y'all a date yet because I don't want to give y'all specifics, but there will be a part two, and part two is gonna be fire. I hope y'all know. This You Can Relate is already fire. Oops, dropped my bookmark. You Can Relate is already fire in itself. So once I drop that part two, the whole thing is just gonna have just everything is just gonna make sense. That what I will say. I will say that. Next question. What did you imagine your parents' reactions to be from your book? Ooh. So when I was writing my book, I really didn't think of anybody's reactions. Like I knew, that I would get some feedback, maybe some negative and positive feedback. I knew that would happen, but this is my story, this is my life, and I do what I want to do, like regardless of how what my parents might think or my family or like my friends. You know, like I didn't think of anybody's reactions. I thought of my big picture. I thought of the big picture. Why do I want to drop this book, you know? And that's what it was for me. If you're going through life thinking about like what other people going to think about everything you do, you might as well live their life. You're not living your life, honey. Period. Anyways, next question. How long did it take you to publish your book? What was the process? How long did it take me to publish my book? It didn't take me long because I already had the content. Like I said, you can relate is just a bunch of poems that I've written throughout my life put into a book. So I've already had the content. Um, so what was the process? The process was obviously you have your content, you put it in a Word document, whatever, you send it to a publisher. You can send it to a publisher and have them edit it and do all of that stuff. But I use the publisher only to publish the book, only to put the book in, you know, like to make the book come to life is what I used a publisher for. The publisher that I used was Steuben Press. For the hard copy, I used Steuben Press. For the digital copy, I used Amazon. You can also publish your book through Amazon, and that's what I used. How long did the process take altogether? I would say about 3 to 4 months, not that long at all. And it's probably because I already had all my content. So, how long did it take you to come up with the content for your book? A lot of these questions are repeating themselves because, like I said, I wanted to get the questions that was most asked. So how long did it take to create the content? Oh, the content. My life. Like this content was from middle school all the way up until I published my book. So there's content from when I was like 12, 15, 21, 25. Like there's content throughout my whole life. And that's why some of these poems are really like dark because like everybody else, I've dealt with traumas in my life. I've had dark times in my life, you know, as everybody. So, yeah, it took for how long it took for the content? Goddamn forever. What motivated you from start to finish? Was it an emotional project? What motivated me from start to finish? Honestly, what motivated me was getting rid of all of my baggage. That motivated me so much because after a while you just get sick of your own shit. Like you get sick of feeling, I don't know. You just get sick of the depression, the anxieties. You just get sick of all your baggage and all your trauma. Like, who wants to deal with that shit all the time? You know what I mean? So, me getting sick of my own shit is what motivated me. Like, this project, this book was, it was my enough. That was me saying, all right, enough. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Was it an emotional project? It was. It was emotional because I was looking through all my old journals. Like, I kept journals since middle school, so I have hella like composition books. And like me looking through all of that stuff, it did bring back a little bit of that those emotions that I was feeling, but I didn't let that stop me from doing what I wanted to do, which was normalize trauma, like normalize the fact that people go through shit. You know, like I feel like ever since social media became like the era, era. Ever since social media became the era, it's like all you see is this glamorous life and like vacations and celebrity bays and celebrity goals and like all this shit that's not real life. Like real life isn't always beautiful, you know? So I really wanted to normalize that. Oops. I don't want to I'm trying to speed through these because I don't want this video to be super long, so I'm sorry if I'm like speeding through or talking fast. Um Next question is, what gave you the courage to share your struggles and trauma with the world? What gave me the courage was, first of all, me personally healing from, my own traumas and feeling like I was the only one going through things, like feeling alone and like nobody would understand and who do I talk to, like just feeling alone. But then as I went through like the process of healing, I was like, you know what? I'm not the only one. Like trauma is normal. It's just not normalized. But what gave me the courage to share my struggles and trauma with the world was really just letting people know that they're not alone. Like other people go through the same things you go through, and it's like it's okay. Like it's okay to not feel glamorous and have a glamorous life all the time because that's realistic, like that's the real world. That's what life is. It's ugly and it's beautiful and that's okay, you know? I hope this is making sense. Please comment if it doesn't. Like, comment any questions that I'm also, that you have that I haven't answered. Maybe I'll do a part two. We'll see. What inspired you to write this book? What inspired me to write this book was really just the same thing, like letting people know that they're not alone and normalizing trauma and normalizing healing. And I just want everybody to be their best self. Like, I don't want to get emotional. I just want everybody to be their best self, and I want people to just get through their traumas and get through their struggles and get through their bad times and not give up, because if you give up you won't get there, you won't get to that light, you won't get to your best self. Everything that you do now is gonna affect the you that's in your future. So all that, like all that trauma that you have to go through and all of that healing that you have to get through and like how hard it is, I swear it's so worth it. And like you're gonna feel like you fucking spread your wings and literally flew and the world is yours. And like you're not gonna feel like life is a bitch no more. You're gonna feel like life is your bitch, because it is, period. And that is what inspires me. That's what still inspires me. And the fact that people are now opening up to me about their traumas and the things that they've been through in their life, and like feeling like, oh wow, like I went through that too, or and I thought I was alone and da 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 da. Like that shit inspires me and it makes me so happy, because I don't know, I just wish that I had that. when I was going through certain things, you know? What inspires you to write? Everything. Literally everything. Like fucking shows, everything. Anything that sparks some kind of emotion inspires me, and that's whether it's through me or through other people or through animals, through whatever. Everything. We got three more questions after this. What was your favorite poem from the book? Ooh, y'all. You know, all these poems are so special to me. Like, they all mean so much to me. They're all so valuable, you know, like, because they all come like straight from the heart, straight from the soul. If you read this book, then you know exactly what I mean. If you read the reviews, they all say the same thing. Like, my favorite poem, if I have to pick, it would be I Am. It would be I Am. That would be my favorite poem. Maybe if we have time at the end of this, I'll share I Am as a little bonus for watching this, for sticking by me, for being my fucking, like, my rocks. Maybe I'll do that. Anyways, was you nervous about putting the book out knowing people would ask if things really happened? Was I nervous about putting out the book? I was nervous about putting out the book just because, you know, like, I did have those anxieties, like, oh my gosh, like, am I really gonna do this? Am I really gonna allow people to see those parts of my life? You know, like, oh, you know, I just had those anxieties, but you gotta do things even if you scared. Like, you cannot stay scared, period. Like, you just gotta do that shit scared and keep it moving. And it was so worth it. It was so worth it. Knowing people would ask if things really happened. I never got asked if things really happened. I feel like that would be. Oops. Hold on, y'all. My bad. Um, Nobody's ever asked me if things really happen. I think that would be such a stupid question since it's an autobiography. And to like lie about these things would be literally insane. Like, I can't even imagine. So, was I nervous about putting out the book? Yes. For the reason of people thinking that it really happened? No, that wasn't ever a thought of mine at all. And I don't think anybody else is thinking that either. But if they are, yes, these things really happen. It's an autobiography because these things really happen. Um, they're not something that I'm proud about, obviously, but everything made me who I am today, and it gave me the wisdom that I have, and it just made me into such a better person. Like, believe it or not, I don't regret anything. I really don't. How did you start writing? Oh, this is a good question. This is like a deeper question because the reason that I wrote, the reason that I would write so much is because that was my escape, you know? Like, I was never a person that wanted to talk about things. Like, I wasn't gonna talk about my problems. Like, I wasn't gonna talk about the experiences that I was going through, and maybe it was because I didn't really understand those experiences. I didn't know what to do with those experiences, so I didn't know how to be vocal about them. But writing was my escape. That's how I escaped a lot of these things, you know? That was like, what do you call it? Like, that was That's writing is what saved me. That was like my saving grace. It really changed my life. It really did. Like, what did you learn? This is our last question, y'all. What did you learn most about yourself once others read your book? What did I learn most about myself once others read my book? That's a good question. Like, I wrote all these questions down, but I didn't think about them. Like, I just wrote them down real quick because I didn't want to cheat, I guess. I wanted this to be authentic, like an authentic experience for both of us, all of us, y'all watching, and me. So, what did I learn most about myself? I learned most about myself. I mean, I didn't really, I can't say writing this book made me, I mean, I can't say that other people reading my book is what is was like something that I learned about myself. However, I did learn that sharing your experiences will normalize other people sharing their experiences, and it would make us know that we are not alone in this world. Like, we're more connected to each other than we think we are. So I did learn about that. I did learn that after sharing my book. That was our last question. I'm so grateful for everybody that's watching, and I'm grateful for everybody that supported my vision and supported my dream. I've always wanted to be an author, and I almost got emotional because it's so much bigger than a book. Like, this shit is my real life. You know what I mean? And like, I sit here and I just think about like what celebrities go through because they share their lives with the world, and that's why, believe it or not, that's why people feel so connected to them, because they share their life, they share their experiences, they share their passions with the world. And now that I'm doing the same thing, I kind of get it. Like, I get it. But it's also like so difficult. Like, it's not as easy as people think it is. But when you have a vision, you just go for it. And that's what I did. And I'm just so grateful, and I'm just so honored. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I'm not trying to cry and mess up my makeup because I look the fuck good today, period. Yeah. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please like and subscribe. Please comment if there's questions that you also want to ask that I didn't answer. And continue being badass, beautiful as beings like you are. Love y'all.